Hello Martian travelers and welcome back to the Mars Parlor. In today's nail video we are going to be having a little bit of fun on my practice hand. So I went ahead and looked up some fun designs that I could do, maybe something I hadn't tried before. I ended up finding this really interesting technique where you make it look like you've written in the snow or there are footprints in the snow, and I just thought that was super duper cute. I haven't tried it before. It's a similar method to what you do with the sweater nails. So I was excited to try that out. I also wanted to try out some more detailed designs in terms of the nail art. So I thought this was the perfect set to mess around with some new techniques, at least for me. And I hope you guys are able to enjoy watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just get right into it. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I decided to leave in how I prep my fake hand for this video and how I take off a previous set. I'm just going to take my tip cutters and start by trimming down the length to avoid excess work, and then I'm going to remove the crystals with an old pair of nippers. This is so that you don't end up ruining or bending your good cuticle nippers, you know? Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my coarse drill bit, and I'm just going to go ahead and file down all of that acrylic. It really doesn't take too long. This is how I like to take off all of my sets. I think some in the community call it the dry removal method, and this is just my preferred way of doing it. I'm going to go ahead and use that bit to shape up the free edge and get it more natural, nail bed like, as well as going in with the hand file afterwards so there are no jagged edges underneath our nail tip. Alright, with that all filed down, we're going to wipe with some alcohol and just clean everything up and go in with some gel base coat. This is just going to help with some adhesion so they don't go flying off while you're working. And afterwards, I'm going to go ahead and take the hand file to the free edges so that the nail tips will stick down better. Now this was an extra step that I decided to add in to see if it would also help with the adhesion. I feel like they stayed on real nicely, but I didn't have any problems when I wasn't using it. I don't know, but this just, in my mind, I was like, this will dry everything out more and make it easier to work with. But yes, after this, we're going to go ahead and size and apply our nail tips. everything's all glued down and it's time to take our tip cutters again and get to the length that we want for these. I decided to go for a nice like medium longish square shape with these. I wanted to have plenty of room to work with the design elements, so. And then we're gonna go in with our straight edge clippers and go ahead and just kind of taper everything in a little bit. I find that even with the square tips and you're going for a square shape, something about that deep C curve can leave just a little too much overhang on the side edges of the nail. Now it's time to crispen everything up with our hand file before we get into the acrylic application. I almost forgot to mention this step, but we are also going to take a sanding band and or your hand file and go ahead and blend the tips into the nail beds. Okay, making sure the area is nice and clean so that we have a perfect surface to work on. I am opening up a brand new acrylic brush from Amazon, and this is a very pretty package. I loved the way it made me feel when I opened it and everything. These little rhinestones on the handle are so adorable, and I got a number size 12 brush so that I could pick up some nice big beads because that's the way I like to work. So that was just me getting all of the packing dust out of the bristles. Swirl it up in your monomer a little bit to make sure it's nice and ready, and then I'm dipping into Bear Me by V Beauty Pure Acrylic, and we're just gonna start sculpting. So I decided to leave this video in real time, and I'm trying to do that a little bit more recently, just leaving in the good parts and everything so that you guys can get the gist but get a good look at everything, you know? So as per usual, I'm going to start with a free edge bead and go ahead and build my thickness at the tip. Then we're going to go in on the body of the nail and blend it into our previous bead. The next bead will be placed sort of at the free edge of the natural nail and also blended downwards. For the best result, you should pat it a bit first and then brush from the middle to the sides, making sure that you're running sort of the barrel of your brush along the side walls so that no acrylic is spilling over to the underside of the nail tip. It's typical of long nail applications that you'll have to take a couple beads to the apex portion and of course to create the thickness of the nail. So as for a cuticle bead, you're going to go ahead and place it in the middle of your nail bed area, press it until it's just kind of kissing up to the cuticle line, and then you're going to want to brush downwards from there. I wouldn't even lift the brush, just an immediate brush downwards toward down the middle, and then go along to the sides very lightly, making sure it doesn't spill into the side walls. I then like to place another one in the same portion of the nail just to make sure that my thickness is good and that I have a very strong apex. So now I'm just going to let you guys enjoy the rest of this acrylic application, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment them down below, and I'll get back with you whenever we're ready for the shaping and filing. Alright, so I tried to keep this filing portion as short and sweet as possible, while still giving a little bit of info for you guys. So I like to take from the height of my apex to the free edge of the nail, or the tip, and I want that thickness to be the same all the way down. But as we're going from the apex to the cuticle, you want it to be sort of a slope. The shape should result in a sort of hill to a plateau look, if that makes sense. Now I'm gonna grab my 100/180 grit file and start finishing the shape. We're gonna take to the free edge and the side walls, as well as a very light filing across the top of the nail, so that everything is nice and smooth and shapely. Alright, so this is the finished shape. I think everything turned out really pretty, really gorgeous. I probably could have done a little bit more refining, but wasn't too worried about it, just for a practice set. So before our nail art, we're going to go ahead with some gel base coat so that we have a smooth surface to work on when we're doing all the line work and everything. for the fun stuff. So I am going to be using mainly, I think, all gel polish colors from the Beauty Pure. And firstly, I'm going in with the white polish. And on this pointer fingernail, we're doing a sort of a boxed French tip. And it's just going to be some really thin line work because we're going to rhinestone, just like completely jewel up this nail after all the nail art and everything. Now I'm using that same white gel polish to go ahead and paint some footprints. So I figured the easiest way to do this, well, after watching a video after I tried this out, I saw that there was a technique that made it look a lot more authentic in terms of messed up snow. They just kind of went ahead and put the polish down, poured the acrylic powder over it, and then actually wrote or dug what they wanted into the nail. I think that probably would have been a lot faster, a lot easier, but this is another method if you ever want to be more precise or anything. I just went ahead and painted the footprints and then went around everything, finished out the nail with some white polish. Before curing, you'll want to dump the clear acrylic powder on top and then go ahead and cure it. So this was me kind of re-outlining those footprints to make it look more like, like a deeper snow. And this is kind of what I was talking about, how that other method would have made it look a lot more authentic. Like everything would have looked a little more disheveled and less neat, and that would have given a better effect. But this nail still turned out really cute, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So I'll try to keep the voiceover for this nail art pretty simple. In the nail design, it is like the cutest little house in the middle of winter that just says home on a little sign on the front of it. And I thought this was just adorable. It gave me so many January vibes. So I decided to go ahead and replicate it. We're starting with a nice brown polish, also V Beauty Pure, so that we can outline everything and not have it look super harsh as if you were to use black polish. I'm taking this grayish color to create the steps at the front, and whenever it comes to building a picture, I find it's really easiest to work in shapes, and that's what you'll see me doing here. So I just kind of take into account how many layers there are or dimensions in the photo, and just go ahead and put down the layers at a time. I don't know if I'm explaining this as best as possible, but basically these steps are sitting behind the snowy trees that are going to be on either side of them. Of course, the sign I'm going to be putting on later goes on top of the color of the house, so it's all about understanding the layers of a design, I suppose. So with this tan sort of light chocolate color, I'm going to go ahead and paint the entirety of these shapes, excluding the stairs, of course, so that, we'll have a perfect base. It won't have to work around any edges or anything by putting something that goes in front of it down first. Taking this lighter tone of tan polish, I am painting the door as well as repainting this upper portion here because it was more of the door color than the rest of the house color. I just thought it made the design a little more three-dimensional. So I struggled quite a bit adding these little slats in the roof portion, but I ended up, pulling it out in the end. And we also are gonna put some brickwork on the larger section of the house. Now I'm going to be using a light paler gray to go ahead and create these windows. Again, thinking in shapes, all we're going to do is paint rectangles at first, and that's going to be the pane of the window in a way. Now I'm just taking some black polish, trying to go in and deepen everything, kind of add some shadow, quote-unquote, elements, and make everything look a little more dimensional. Now I'm dipping into my green polish. This is like a Christmas green. It's like perfect. And I'm creating two little trees on either side of the steps. The thing about organic, art elements is that you really don't have to put too much thought into shaping them. Just like nature, nothing comes out perfect. So I'm just literally doing some flicks and pats and everything, and it just comes out looking like a perfect tree. Dipping back into that white polish, I am adding some snow on the rooftops as well as the steps and a little bit on the door, the windows, anything to make it look nice and snowy. And of course, we are going to be putting some little dots and whatnot for the snowball effect. So So with this nail art, I did kind of hop just a little bit all over the place. I had second thoughts about things, wanted to add some here and there, but I just took some black polish to the outer edges and sort of brought it in on those trees to give them some shadow, some realism, and as well as make the scene a little bit drearier or more winter-like. Now with the deep gray, I am painting a half circle on, above those windows there, so that I can create the little sign that says home on it, as well as using the same dark gray to deepen up the steps to also speak to that dark winter day vibe. I'm outlining the windows in white. It just made the house pop a little bit more than if I'd have done brown on them. And of course, making the tops a little lumpy because they've got snow on them. As soon as I placed this little bit of snow on the step, oh, the picture came alive. I was so happy about it. Like, oh, the depth in the trees and then the brightness of the snow, everything was coming together, and this was looking like a real painting. I was really happy. Part of me kind of wishes that I would have put a little less snow on these trees just to show off the darker parts a little more, but you know, it turned out okay in the end. Just snowed real hard, I guess. But yeah, now I'm putting a little bit on top of the door as well as adding a doorknob, and now I'm outlining that sign as well as putting my line work in there. It did take me a few tries to get that to fit inside of the sign really nicely and look as even as possible. But after completing that, I forgot there is a little window on the roof part, so I'm just adding that there with some dark gray, as well as outlining it with white like the other two. So I started off painting the brickwork or pattern with white polish because that's how it was in the reference photo, but it just ended up looking not right. So I went ahead and switched it to a deeper brown, and then it really came back to life, and I was very happy with it. And now that I have completed all of the house design, I'm just taking the white polish again and creating little streaks in the windows, giving that reflective light bounce effect, and as well as a few more snowflakes on top of the house, the picture of the house. So that, as well as this last little decoration on the front door, is going to complete the nail art, and now we're just going to get into some rhinestone placement. I'll be using McCart rhinestone glue as well as some Beetles top gel. And what you want to do is use this rhinestone glue first, place it anywhere you're going to be putting your jewels, and typically I would go ahead and put the top coat on before actually placing the jewels. Makes it so you can just cure and be done afterwards and don't have to muddy the reflection of your rhinestones or anything. But I think I just forgot in this case because I was ready to like do a final top coat reveal with all the nail art. But yeah, it still ended up working out. I'm even using some of these little pearls and even smaller beads in silver, of course, just to make everything a little more fancy and complex. So the pinky nail actually didn't have anything on it in the reference photo, but I decided it looked a little too plain, so I went ahead and gave it a cuff with those same silver beads and then put just a few jewels on that as well. Now it is time to finish top coating. Of course, you're not going to want to top coat your snowy nail because it will ruin the effect. And we're just going to work our way around the jewels on the pointer finger, and that will complete the design for today's video. This was very much fun, and that was the goal, was to just mess around and experiment and try out some new things, see what I can do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and safe travels back to Earth. Peace.